All right, Todd Lyons is the ICE director and joins us now. Sir, good to have you back on. The president has called to end the temporary protected status of Somalians living in the state of Minnesota. The secretary, Noam, has to actually do that, officially begin that process and handle that job. But when that does happen, is ICE going to be going into what's called Little Mogadishu there on the southeast side of Minneapolis?
Hey, Rob. Good seeing you again. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so, ICE, obviously, we enforce the laws the way they're written, right? And so if someone's temporary protective status is lifted, which it's happened many a times to different various countries and nationalities, but we're ready to take action, and that's what we do, right? When someone's temporary protective status is lifted, they are now illegal aliens. They're here in the country illegally, and we will go ahead and remove those criminal elements out of our neighborhoods.
What was your reaction when you saw the details of the fraud inside of this community and just surreal what we've brought into our country?
One thing for me, Rob, is the fact that when you think about what TPS is actually created for, right, what the asylum process is created for, when you think about how many people take advantage of that, when there are so many individuals that want to come to the United States for a better life, yet there's so many people that criminally come here and use fraud or other fraudulent means to enjoy the American dream, it takes away from those individuals that really want to be here lawfully, right? So we do have to remove those elements out of here. And if temporary protective status is lifted for the Somali community, whether it's Minneapolis, could be Philadelphia, it could be anywhere, we're going to go ahead and remove those elements out of our country, because at that point, especially the game here under false pretenses, that's what ICE does as a law enforcement mission. We have to ensure that we remove those people from our communities.
Yeah. Joseph Edlow from USCIS here discussing an investigation that they had into Minneapolis and St. Paul levels of fraud in those two twin cities. Take a listen.
Our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work at businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visas, and many other discrepancies. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases interviewed.
If you run into people like that, is that pretty much a slam dunk? They're out of the country? How does it work?
No, for us, that is a slam dunk, right? Yeah. If we've already had and done our due diligence and we prove the fact that you came here under false pretenses, 100% we're going to remove you. And, Joe made a great point. When you think of the national security threats of, individuals that came here with fraud, they may have come here to enjoy the American dream, but time and time again, I always say ICE was an organization born out of 9/11. They came, 9/11 terrorists came here under fraud pretense anyways, right? So you don't know who the people were letting in. We have to make sure we do our due diligence, go back, look at the ones we let under the last administration. And again, so many people have used fraud in fraudulent circumstances to obtain something that so many people want, to be here in the United States.
Yeah, this is going to sound like a clever question, but he said marriage fraud was one of the first things that he mentioned, which I've heard is rampant in the Somali community. Is anybody immune from that? If there was a congresswoman or somebody that's very important that had committed that, are they immune from this?
No, Rob, nobody's immune from it. We have to look at every case by case. And if fraudulent means were gained or used to gain a benefit, then we have to take all our due diligence. We have to look at it criminally, administratively, and we have to take action on all those cases. No one's immune.
Yeah, absolutely. It just makes you wonder. I want to just show this. You've had sex offender, an ICE sex offender arrest and removal operation in Los Angeles. 288 arrests of criminal aliens, among them these four right here, convicted of counts of lewd acts with a child under 14, among other charges, all still living in the United States. Talk about this operation as you guys get so much grief from the American public that are now completely against just basic, decent immigration enforcement. Talk about what you've just done here in Los Angeles.
Well, Rob, to your point, this was an ICE-led operation. And just think about it. We arrested 288. 42 of those were convicted sex offenders, right, who had done time up to 32 years that should have went back to the home country. But they've let them back in the community. Just imagine if LAPD or, California Highway Patrol wanted to work with us. Think of how many other criminal sex offenders we could have found. But I would love to argue with anybody that says we shouldn't be out there arresting sex offenders. These are the people that majority of the American people voted for to get out of our neighborhoods. And this is what ICE does every day. Every day we're arresting people just like this. Sex offenders and child sex predators that are in our communities. We just got 288 of them. I hope we're going to get more. But this is what ICE does every day.
It's amazing stuff. The ICE Director, Todd Lyons. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob. Good seeing you.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmidt tonight on Newsmax.